I'm James Spann. This is the morning edition of the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Tuesday, the 10th of August. And boy, tropics getting pretty interesting. Just maybe a little system forming in the Gulf in the next 36 hours. And heat levels may be coming down a little bit. Let's take a look at the images this morning coming off the Skycam network. First off from Inverness, the Wingate Inn. Traffic on Highway 280. Things are nice and calm out there. Early this morning at 5 o'clock, the ridiculous hour of 5 o'clock. Up in northwest Alabama, there's a look at the Fayette County Courthouse. And down south, ready for a little football. It's almost that time. That's the football stadium there on the campus of Troy University in Pike County, south of Montgomery. Water vapor satellite imagery. Again, the heat bubble covers much of the deep south. Big storms blowing up on the northern periphery of the heat. Look at highs yesterday. Pretty nasty. Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. They're the hardest hit areas with triple digits out there. Around here, most folks yesterday were in the mid to upper 90s. Hot enough. Convective outlook for today. Slight risk up north on top of the heat ridge. And the QPF chart. Expected rain for the next 5 days. Valid through Saturday evening at 7. Amounts of about 1 inch across our state. Heavier totals showing up near the Gulf Coast, and of course the amount of rain could very well be dependent on what happens in the Gulf with our tropical system. There's the big picture this morning. Of course, we've got the system out there in the central Atlantic, little flare of convection there this morning. That is a recurving storm that will not be affecting the United States at all. The one of interest is the disturbance down there in the southeastern Gulf. And the guys at NHC have pegged that as a 50% chance of developing into a tropical cyclone within 48 hours. Here's the Key West radar. Been pouring rain down there with this feature. And that's what we need up here. So maybe our friends can help us and send it this way. Check the surface analysis this morning. You can see that no doubt there's a good broad surface circulation down there. You can see it in the buoys. You can see it in the surface analysis. The surface circulation is located to the west of Fort Myers and northwest of Key West at 1,010 millibars. Modeling? Yeah, come on now. I like to see that trend. Number of the better models bringing up toward the mouth of the Mississippi and then recurve it into the westerlies as a weakness develops in the ridge. Now, hey, let's all be honest, that ridge is not wanted to weaken much this summer. We know that because it's been so hot. And it could be that the ridge holds and this thing stays west of us and it's not a direct influence. But if that indeed happens to be correct, we could see a pretty good wet down by the end of this week. There's the intensity schemes, and by golly, models coming in a little more aggressive this morning. Some want to ramp this thing up to a pretty formidable tropical storm. One way or the other, the main impact should be heavy rain, and that's a good thing. Thought to show you the GFDL, pretty interesting. This is 66 hours out, valid at 1 o'clock Thursday. It's got this thing located near the mouth of the Mississippi as a minimal hurricane. 35-meter wind shows up at 85 knots there. And then at 114 hours, it's got the center of circulation near the shoals in northwest Alabama. And by golly, that would really wet us down if this is right. So we're pulling for this idea, and I'm not saying it's going to happen yet, but again, there's a shot at a tropical storm coming in from the Gulf over southeast Louisiana, recurving up through Mississippi and northwest Alabama, putting us on that good east side for rain. Let's pick the GFS. Now, it's not going to do much with it. This is today at 1 o'clock. Of course, there's the heat bubble. This is at 500 millibars. Down below that, today will be a lot like yesterday. Mid to upper 90s, widely scattered storms. No big change. Tomorrow, core of the heat begins to shift west. Again, down below that, you can see the GFS really doesn't identify this tropical cyclone. There's Thursday. You can see a massive moisture coming up toward the Gulf Coast. And Friday, that kind of moves inland with no discernible surface low. And then Saturday, starting off the weekend, look at the nice trough up north. Again, helping to beat down the ridge. Down below that, a very soupy air mass, scattered, maybe numerous showers and storms. And again, Friday could be awfully wet, too, depending on the tropical system, but that suggests kind of unsettled weather. Highs back in the low 90s, and Sunday, the same deal. Got a nice surface boundary north of us, and Monday of next week, nice trough over over Canada, down across the Great Lakes, the Midwest. The heat bubble is suppressed off to the west, and a surface boundary all the way down to Interstate 20. It can happen, doesn't happen that often in mid-August. And then Tuesday, look what happens. A surface low forms on the stall front down on the Gulf Coast, and again, that could wet us down. So you just wonder if the worst of the heat is by now. Last week we hit 101, and it just seems like that might be the peak of the summer heat. We'll see. We hope so. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video this morning. We'll have notes on the blog. The next video here by 3:30 or so today. And if you're local to us, we invite you to watch us on television this evening. ABC 3340 in Birmingham at 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.